Hello, Mgtow. Hello, man. Let's wait for this thing to start so I can see if it's actually going to start. And of course, it's not picking up on YouTube. Well, there it is. There it is. I can start. Okay. I had to take my headphones off. Okay. Okay, that's always great when it starts up on time and everything. And well, hello, Mgtow. Hello, man. First of all, go your own way. Go your own way, Mgtows. All your sins from the past are forgiven. It's a new life here in Mgtow, and a new life, a better living, and that's what we're talking about, a better living today. I often look around the manosphere and the YouTube, and I hear the rage topics, and I think rage comes in a whole bunch of ways. In Mgtow, one of the things that I see is the objectivism and the skepticism in Mgtow, and I think that's a product of rage. And once you get by that, you move by those things, you become a really kind of decent person, and your society doesn't. What's going on in society doesn't affect you at all anymore, and you put a lot of things away, just like, going your own way. You put all those things from the past away, what you were, what society made you into, and you just put it away and you forget about it, and you try not to relive all those horrible moments or whatever brought you to Mgtow, and relive all those simping moments. I do to myself, those moments where you were just not strong enough. Just not strong enough in Mgtow, and that's important to put those things away and remember who you are now. But a lot of good things come from Mgtow, and that. Hello, Victor. Hello, Hank. A lot of good things come from Mgtow, and we never focus on those good things. We never talk about the good things. I used to give the analogy of the MRA, the PUA, and the Mgtow sitting in the bar, and a female sits in between them. The PUA is trying to hit that for the night. The MRA is just yelling at her, calling a filthy feminist, and the Mgtow gets just like, nah, sorry, I'll just move over back here to these tables back there, and then the barmaid will come up and she'll serve me my beer, and we don't really care. We don't involve ourselves in those things, and that's a good thing. When we go out into this world, we're not yelling at people. We're not trying to take advantage of situations and things like PUAs. We don't want nothing to do with a lot of things, and that's a good thing. In our society, that works out great for our society. We're not those aggressive males. We'll just be, hey, man, just do your thing, do your religious thing, do your mating thing. Just don't involve me in it. Don't ask me for anything, and don't try to drag me into. That's when most of our complex issues come in, when society tries to drag you back to the mating aspects of it, and that overtakes their life. And I understand how that overtakes their life. It becomes this under fabric that is woven into the fabric of their lives, and they believe it's a very natural thing to do, and it's really not. Like I said, asexuality is the default position of men. Asexuality is the default position of everything. When you go to work, you shouldn't be thinking about that. When you're fixing your car, you're not going to get it done if you're thinking about that, or you're going to make mistakes if you're working on a complex electrical problem, or a complex big problem where you're putting 200 tons on top of something at work, and you don't want it to fall, and you're in a truck or a tractor. You don't want to be thinking about. You don't want one of those things walk by you where it's going to bother you and everything. So putting those things away is Mgtow, and it's a default position of most people. They just don't know that the Mgtow position is the default position of most men when they do important things. We're essentially Mgtows, and there's a lot of important things we do in this world. There's a lot of things that a lot of Mgtows we do extra things in our community. We work with the homeless, the poor. We work with services and stuff like that. We never project our Mgtow on those things. We never project any kind of sexuality. It's an asexual thing. We never tell people who we are, what we do. We just help out, and I think that becomes a thing in Mgtow that that's where you get a lot of your self worth from. What kind of person can I be in my community? How can sorry, how can I benefit after I benefit myself, after we get through with all those things where we shed them things from life that can hurt us, and then we start becoming more successful, well-rounded people. I hear a lot about this self-actualization. I'll say we acquire our goals in life, and we work towards our goals, and we do that. But sometimes sometimes our aspirations is not to be Thomas Jefferson. It's not to be Abraham Lincoln. It's not to be our aspirations, and that's one of my big problems with self-actualization. It gives these sort of objectivism things that we aspire to be. Like, I want to be Tesla. No, I will never be Tesla. I will never be Jung. I will never be Hobbes, and I will never be Albert Camus. I will never be those guys. I don't aspire to be something. It's my problem with objectivism is because it's the Jesus syndrome. It gives you the same thing as you put this Jesus up there and you say, aspire to be him. You guys know it's not going to happen. I can't be that good. Nobody can be that good. The John Galt, the other guy in the Fountainhead. I can't remember their names because it's been a long time since I've read childish philosophies. But we inspire to be those things in our life that we have to build. What I call the fictional finalism, and I say, oh, I'm going to be this astronaut, or I'm going to be this, and that doesn't happen. And most of us have really grounded views. I'm going to just be the guy in my neighborhood that takes care of the plumbing, the electricians. I can go make videos, or I can do public services. I can work for the government, or I can work here. I can work in a factory. I just want to be a regular guy, and that's what most of us aspire to be, as a regular people with our freedom all around us to do what we want to do. And with that excess of freedom, time is freedom, and solitude is freedom. If you're wondering what freedom is solitude, and the right to practice your solitude however you want. And you take that solitude and you move it into goals and little things that I want to go out, and we're gonna help my brother out. I'm gonna spend some time on Mgtow. I'm gonna make a few Mgtow videos. I'm gonna tell people about the enlightenment of Mgtow, and how it can fix a lot of men's lives. And I'm going to tell them, hey, all those things in your past, all those sins are all forgiven. Let's just move on. Let's move past that, and let's work on ourselves. And we do that. We work on ourselves, and in that becoming, there's a great line. I don't know who says it. The quote is, "You can't help anybody else unless you're in good shape." You got to help yourself first. You got to be a person above reproach. You got to be a person that's in good shape to help anybody else in your life. And if you're not in good shape, you're just going to be a drag to be around. And then one of the things we worked on our introspections. We worked on our personalities. We worked on our souls, whatever the human soul is. That thing of self. We work on that, and then we have extra time, extra money, extra everything, resources to do something with. And that's where a lot of big questions in Mgtow. Where do I get my validation as a good person, in good Oliver Wendell Holmes, the justice, the great justice in the 1940s and 50s. He said, what is good? Good is what's best for the most people. And I believe that, and I think Dewey and James would agree with that. They talk to Olive Wilna Holmes in great debates and discussions, and good, being a good person and being a good Mgtows. And there's a lot of good Mgtows that do things around their communities, and don't I don't bother with the women. I don't argue with them. I don't argue with feminism. I'm not having pillow fights with feminists, and that's what I see when I see this back and forth between the MRA and all that stuff. I see guys having immature pillow fights about gender dynamics with feminism, and that's ridiculous. It comes off as totally ridiculous with me, because we have a group, and we have time, and we have resources now to be doing better things in this world, but they choose to be having pillow fights with feminists. And the PUA, they want to take advantage of the girls and trick them into their beds, and that's wrong. And it just, how you validate yourself as a human. I personally validate the goodness I do in this life by where I can help out, where I can help my neighbors. You guys hear me say it all the time. I help my neighbor all the time. She's a 74-year-old woman. She can't do her own plumbing, and when she calls contractors and stuff, they usually want to take advantage of her. They usually want to charge her for things she doesn't know about. I went over there once, and some guy was getting ready to charge her $900 to rip up the cement in her toilet when it just needed to be snaked out. Yeah, that's what they get. So I take care of those things, and any one of my neighbors that needs something, just me to be there. That's what I'm here for in my community. I think I'm a good community person, and I used to work heavy in the homelessness. I don't do that anymore. I'd like to get back into that as I get older, and as I have extra time for those things. That would be a nice thing to do for my community. Even, I'm not one of those guys that's going to end up at Christmas Day handing out turkey dinners for, those sort of things at a church, because I don't really believe in religion and that stuff. And it's just taking advantage of like patting yourself on the back for abundance, of gratitude, and then you look silly doing it. I'm so grateful I can do this for the people, and I'm such a good person. I'm such a good person as a one of my one of my one of my little pet peeves in life, and I see a lot of people saying that about themselves. So just being a good person, and Mgtows are wonderful, good people. I think that's the last step of the Mgtow monk. Uh, I'm not running around my neighborhood all drunk and with a potential a paternal Woody looking to take advantage of everything I see, and that's a good thing now. And most Mgtows get to that point eventually. Um, but I think objectivism, there's a lot of objectivist Mgtows when they're young, and it's a part of rage. You have to focus an angle. You're coming into Mgtow, there's some kind of pain there. And you got to tuck that pain, look at that pain. You look at your part in that, what you did to involve yourself into that. You remove that from your life, and then a lot of that is, how do I get rid of this? I talk about it, and I focus that anger and pain back out on society. I don't keep it in here. I rage a little, I yell a little, and that rage becomes insidious, and it goes to a form of objectivism where you hate the world, and you hate everybody, and you hate disabled people, you hate women, you hate. That's not Mgtow. That's objectivism, and that's sort of goes along with traditional conservatism. And traditional conservatism, we all know, trad cucks and trad cons are not Mgtow. But we've had a influx of these kind of objectivist trad cucks coming into Mgtow, where they just can't release the conservatism, and they can't believe there's a different way to live. That 1950s, Wally and Beaver, living is Disney. It's a fantasy fiction fairy tale, and you have to get yourself out of that and become a real man, and realize that asexuality is the default position you should be in. when you're out there dealing with people, dealing with your work. And if Harvey Weinstein had that kind of a-fault sexuality, he wouldn't be in the trouble that he is now. If most of those guys had that kind of default sexuality instead of this overage of over-sexuality, that's when you get in trouble. That's when you are an ass. That's when you are a simp and you need forgiveness. But this world is not forgiving. And like we say in Mgtow, we never forget and we never forgive our enemies. Uh, but at a certain point, all that rage should start boiling down and going away, and you should put away the objectivism and the Ayn Randyism and all that that libertine thinking. And just become a normal person again, a normal person that interacts with your community. You walk around, you got a Mgtow mindset. People don't have to worry about you because you're not a horrible person. They don't quite know what to make of you. And like you said, there will be times where, hey, I want to go out with my sister. You want to, hey, I'm fixing you up with this. And you're like, no. I don't engage in those sports anymore. I don't do the hunt anymore. That's a childish thing I put away, and that's the way most Mgtow should get. But with that, we start just becoming these really, really kind of kind, philosophical people that people attach to and people like, and you become an asset to your community. And most of the time, as long as they don't hear the word Mgtow, they're fine with it, because they definitely want you to be back in the mating world, because you're a prize. I've seen many videos by women and about, hey, Mgtows are kind of attractive for their resources and their good manners, and you become that prize again. But that's not something we do. We don't slow walk backwards to the matrix. So we have to spend our time somehow, somewhere, doing something that matters, something that you can actuate yourself with, something that you can fulfill in your life, have a goal, and say, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be, that I want to be that good person. And Mgtows are good people. I think everything about Mgtow is about shedding that rage. Mgtow gives us the means to work through that and become really good people, really fine members of our society. Of course, there's going to be people. Of course, there's going to be members that don't understand why we put the females away, why we put them over there and say, no, we don't do that no more. We're not those white knights, and we are not those rapists, and we are not those simps, and we are not those beggars, and we are not those cackling hyenas doing cat calls on the sidewalk. We think that that's immature. We think it's below us. We have become men above reproach. We have become men that you don't even talk to them. You don't even bring those things to our table, because they become insulting to us. And then if anybody tries to, I just put it away in a heartbeat. I just change the subject, because I know it's no good. And I know that's horrible human thinking. But we have to fill our lives somehow. We have to fill our lives with our communities. We have to fill our lives with the people we love around us. And it's a true, genuine sort of love where, I'd be heartbroken if some of my neighbors would pass. And I would say, there's nothing, I don't objectify them in any way. I don't, I just like to see them and wave at them, and they ask me, Joe, you know anything about this? Or Joe, hey, I seen I can come over and help you. And people help me out too. I take charity like anybody else takes charity. If I need to know something, I ask a neighbor, and usually that works out. It's a give and take in those things. And true altruism is a give and take situation where you do something for me and I'll do something for you. And that's where the original Mgtow used to have something that was a fourth or fifth thing. We called it the trade. And that's how we'd like the world to work on. It's you do something for me, I do something for you. We work out. It's not filled with terrible blue pill thoughts about that, and we become a community, and that community is probably the utopian community that everybody thinks about, where we all just lend a hand and we do what we can, and it becomes a nice place to live. Uh, Utopian communities get so much bad press that it's almost, I can't remember who did Novich or not Novich. Yeah, Novich did write about utopian communities and everything, but Mgtow would, if given an honest shot in this world, it would be a utopian community. It would be that place where everything works out, and the proletariat give back to their community. We do know there was one situation, and Albert Camus tells us there's one situation, and all of this socialism, communism, and all of that actually does work out, and you got to get to that place, and it's a hit and miss from time to time to time to time, and once in a while you see it in a community where what they call the proletariat actually give back, and they take care of themselves and they take care of their neighbors, and that's the beautiful thing about this community. That's what we'd like to see, where no one takes advantage of anybody else, and and women don't take advantage of situations, social situations, and men, and don't make them into slaves, and they take accountability for their lifestyle, and they have agency. And I want every female out there to have agency, and if she wants to get pregnant, go get pregnant, take care of your baby, raise it. Uh, like I said, I don't think father's a real thing, and I think laying that on men is horrible. The community can help out in that, and they can do that if they want. But I'll just put those things away. I want them all to have agency. I want them to have a good life, and do those things. But it's 100% their responsibility, their option, their choice. It's yes means yes, gives them 100% their choice, and once they make that decision, they can involve themselves in raising that child and having a good, strong young man. And if they have a young man, be honest about it. Raise a good, strong young man, and or a good, fine young woman. But that's some of the parts with gender dynamics that we argue. We're going to argue those things out, and uh, whose responsibility is it, and who's lacking responsibility and accountability here. And I don't think it's the men. I know. I'm drinking whiskey juice, Dr. Pepper. I call it whiskey juice because whiskey always drinks Dr. Pepper. So, what do you do in your community? What do you do for your? We don't get credit enough for being those guys. Like I said, we're not the white knights. We're not the cackling hyenas. We're not the cat callers. We're we're not the simps or the beggars. We're just a normal guy that's matured past our time, and we or matured above our time or beyond our time, and we see life in a different way where we don't do those things, and we think about ourselves. Then we have overages in our life, and we can be good people still. Uh, there's no doubt about it that goodness comes from down here. And I see it in a lot of MGTOWs. I see as you get older in this place, you start reflecting on things, and man, I thought, ooh, it'd be just beautiful to live around, you know, a whole community of guys like you guys in our, and Bob would be next door, and Escape from Zombieland would be over there, and Hank would be over there. I'd be, hey, Joe, I'd be, hey, and there would be no craziness and no gun shooting and no fights and no garbage and no fighting over women and all that crazy dating and garbage wouldn't exist, and it would just be a really good community where we get things done. Uh, And that's the pluses of Mgtow, because I think in every one of those communities out there, there is a Mgtow guy that everybody relies on. Everybody asks advice from. Everybody kind of knows, and they don't quite know what he is, but they know he's a good dude, and they know he can be trusted, and they know he's courageous, and they know he's honest. And I think those are the big things in Mgtow. You can be trusted. You're courageous. You're honest. You're a good person. You have your own different way, and they're not quite sure what that is, but but that's not nobody else's business, and that's when excuse me, that's when the community we live in becomes intrusive to us. It's not their business what you are or what you're doing. It's nobody's business about your sexuality. You don't ask and you don't tell, and that's it. It ends there, and nobody brings that up, and nobody can leverage it against you, and nobody makes that the subject of a conversation, because it's immature. It really is. I hear the kids all the time. They're like, talking about that like they're 21, 22-year-old kids, and it's like that's the subject of your conversation. You know what that's going to get you in life? Nothing. A big zero, and it might turn into a negative. But you can't tell young men that. And there is a lot of rage, and rage will turn to something else unless you actively try to get rid of that rage. And Mgtow, that's what we do. We actively try to get rid of that rage and quell it, and give us other things to think about. What am I doing today? What am I going to write down on my slate when I wake up in the morning? How much free time am I going to have? How much money do I have in my pocket? Do I have everything I need? Do I have to go do something? Those are the things. Those are the questions in the morning. You wake up with a Mgtow, and you know there's not an extra human in there. Extra humans are where we traditionally go wrong. We put an extra human in our lives, and I think you know what kind of extra human that is, and all of a sudden you're responsible for it. It's taking up half your resources. It's dragging you down. It's making bad decisions. There's a lot of drama. There's always drama with those extra humans, and it's not a good situation. It doesn't work out for you. You know that. I know that. Come on back. I have to pull the world back in focus because I am my own God. So keeping those extra humans out of your life, and those extra things that would drag you down, you become half. I hear a lot of the pluses and benefits of relationships, and you get to be two. No, you get to be half. The mathematics doesn't work like that. You're doubling your income. No, you got half an income now. She's going to figure out how to spend half of yours. Trust me on that one. So I don't know where they come up with that math. Maybe they're. It's funny how they all become positivists when it comes to that, but they can't do the negative subtraction when it comes to the other parts. So hello everybody. So let me take a look and see what's all in here and what you guys are talking about. I was going to put the thing up if anybody wanted to come in and talk and just talk about things, the good things you do. That's up to you. And we'll talk about Mgtow and talk about how we do our Mgtow. Let me copy the clipboard there thing and do that, and I'll put it in here. If you have StreamYard, you're always welcome to come in. Anybody's welcome to come in and talk if they want. And today we're talking about the good things you do as a Mgtow, and the goodness in your community, the goodness in your heart, and how you get there. And there's a lot of how you get there too. You have to shed certain things, and there's a lot of work you're going to have to do, and that's what we call our introspections. If you're not doing your introspection, and and you're expecting to have good results in life, and you expect that karma not to come visit you in your life, that's probably not going to happen. It gets about the same results as marriage. It's about 82% chance that's going to come visit you. But if you're doing your introspections and you're doing your life right and you're not bothering anybody, your chances go way high. I know there's tragedy in this world. Uh, Tragedy is a horrible thing. We have to put up with it, and there's always going to be tragedy in this world. Workers are going to die at work, and they're usually men, and uh, you know, it's just a crane's going to fall in New York. That's what's going to happen, and it happens at least twice a year. And cars are going to run into people, and there's going to be horrible accidents, and you might be involved in an accident in your life, and that's tragedy, and that's always going to happen. There's going to be job loss, and there's going to be angry, not very logical, sane people trying to hurt you in this life, and reducing the possibilities of ever running into those people. I wish I would have done that when I was at a young age, and I was going to live forever when I was 20, 21 years old, and I wanted to see all those little underbellies of the world, and I wanted to experience them, and tempt fate, and but then I put those things away, and I wish I would have never seen some of that stuff. I wish I would have. I wish I wouldn't have craved that and did the Mgtow thing, and reduce my risk, because I think my life would be a lot better now if I would have did Mgtow 20 years earlier. Um, and Mgtow's more than just seeing what they call the red pill out of a. It's about reducing risk in all aspects of your life, and picking up goals and things you like to do, hobbies and goals and stuff like that, and replacing risk with nice, safe adventures. And that's a responsible thing to do as a Mgtow. I never did take a look and see who was in here. This is hello Victor, hello Pretentious Herman, hello Father No, hello Bob the Monk, hello Hank the Mean Man, hello everybody. Doesn't seem to be too many people around. Probably people watching football and stuff like that today, and that's it. And I just want the things we don't do, and the things we put in our lives that really make our communities a better place to live. That's all I wanted to talk about today. And since no one is coming around, and since I can't get nobody in, I'll probably just make this a short one and leave it at that, and ask you guys a question. What are the things you do? What are the things you do that make your society a better place? The way you live, being a good person, being a good Mgtow, and and that's all I wanted to talk about today. Mgtows. And like always, if it wasn't for each and every one of you guys showing up and being, Mgtow, then this thing wouldn't be worth doing, and probably be called something else by now, because I would have made sure about that. but but thanks for coming around, man, and thanks for being Mgtow, and like always, man, thanks for being Mgtow. Mgtow.